Welcome back to the ARCA Menard Series preview show. I'm Casey Campbell, and that's ARCA Menard Series PR Director Charlie Crawl, and we're going to get you ready for the ARCA Menard Series West finale at Phoenix. And this might be the craziest race of the season because, I know everyone's, focused on, it's championship weekend, and we know the championship 4 in trucks, Xfinity, and Cup are on the line, but there's about 7 guys who can go for the ARCA West championship as well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? There are a lot of different scenarios heading into this weekend's finale there at Phoenix. I think we have got 7 drivers within 26 points. The first 5 drivers, the top 5 separated by 6 points. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. And, basically what that means, Casey, is, only really Jesse Love's going to have his destiny fully in his own hands, unless they were to win, everybody else is going to need someone else to finish somewhere else. And, the farther down the line you get, the more of those other drivers you're going to need to beat. So, it's going to be a very hectic 100 miles out at Phoenix Raceway. And, the interesting part, Casey, is that there's going to be some interlopers from the ARCA Menard Series coming out there as well. So, 36 cars, the biggest field we've had all season long. It's going to be just an infinite number of potential outcomes. And I think it's on top of that going to be a pretty crazy race. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, just you look at some of the names that are in this field, just crossing over here: Ty Gibbs, Daniel Dye, Sammy Smith, Taylor Gray, Tony Breidinger, Gracie Trotter, Parker Chase, Drew Dollar, Jake Garcia from the late model series is going to be there. So along with all our friends from the ARCA West series who normally race in this series, you get to 36 cars in this field, and you talk about those like scenarios and all that. We don't know what we're in for.
No, we don't. And I think for a championship race, I think the guys like, PJ Pedroncelli and Jake Drew and, Joey East, Cole Moore, they would like it if it was just those West guys, then they're just racing straight up, one-on-one with each other, but to have, those ARCA Menard Series drivers in there as well, they're going to be stealing some points away. I'm really confident that those West drivers are going to be competitive and running up near the front, but it's going to be a tough task to beat Ty Gibbs. It's going to be tough to beat the David Gilliland racing cars. It's going to be tough to beat Venerini Motorsports. Yep. So for someone like Jesse Love, and Jesse's an elite talent. Yeah. But for someone like Jesse Love, it might be tough for him to go up there and race into the top 5. It might be really tough for him to do that. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And 100 laps is actually a pretty short race out there. It's going to be, kind of a sprint race. So we'll just have to see, how the caution flags fall and what the pit strategy is and how that works out. And, we'll see who's able to play all those variables into their own favor.
Of course, David Gilliland himself won this race last year in an interesting fashion. And of course, Jesse Love won the championship for there. Of course, he's at it again, along with, as you said, PJ Pedroncelli is up there, Cole Moore, Jake Drew, Trevor Huddleston, Joey East. Help me out here.
Todd Souza,
and Cole Moore.
Yep.
So those are the 7 drivers that are eligible for this championship.
Not necessarily in that order.
Right.
Pretty close though.
Yeah. But the top 5 is going to have probably the easiest. Jesse Love, I think, is obviously first. PJ Pedroncelli second. And then I believe
third, Joey East 4th, Cole Moore 5th, Trevor Huddleston is 6th, and Todd Souza is 7th. So the top, the top 6, basically are 15 points apart, Casey. And, there's a lot of scenarios here. Let me see if I've got a little sheet here, and if I can call it up, we'll kind of go through it here a little bit. So Jesse Love wins the championship if he finishes ahead of everybody else. He's really the one who has his destiny in his own hands. And this scenario is taking into account that they don't win the race. Okay. So PJ will win if he beats Jesse by 2 positions. He's got to beat Jesse Love by 2 positions. He's got to be within 1 position of Jake Drew, 3 positions of Joey East, 5 positions of Cole Moore, and 13 positions of Trevor Huddleston, 25 positions of Todd Souza. That's, finishing order, and if Jesse and PJ tie, Jesse would win that tiebreaker based on wins, 2-1. So Jake Drew will win the championship if he beats Jesse Love by 4 positions and beats PJ Pedroncelli by 3 positions. Then he also has to be within 1 position of Joey East, 2 positions of Cole Moore, 11 positions of Trevor Huddleston, and 22 positions of Todd Souza.
Yeah.
You paying attention? You got all this?
Yeah, I do.
Notes?
Yeah, I do.
All right, there's gonna be a quiz after this.
I knew you were going to say that.
Right. So it just, as you can see, and those are just the first 2 drivers. As you can see, it gets more and more complicated as you go on down. So, like Joey East, he's got to finish 6 positions ahead of Jesse Love, 5 positions ahead of PJ Pedroncelli, 3 positions ahead of Jake Drew, and within 1 position of Cole Moore, 10 positions of Trevor Huddleston, and 21 positions of Todd Souza. All of those things have to happen for Joey East to be the champion. If Jesse and Joey tie, Jesse wins the tiebreaker. If Joey and PJ tie, Joey wins the tiebreaker based on top 5s. If Joey and Jake Drew tie, Joey wins again on top 5s. If Jesse Love, PJ Pedroncelli, and Joey East tie, Jesse wins wins the championship based on wins, but then Joey would be second in points based on top 5. See, it's just crazy. There's so many different permutations of it. There's so many different potential outcomes. And I know what's going to end up happening here is that one of these potential outcomes is going to happen that I haven't accounted for.
Right.
And it's going to be crazy. So
yeah, it's going to be nuts trying to track all this. I know, of course, you're calling the race for Track Pass. By the way, if you get Track Pass, it's only $2.99 a month. Right. So what's that going to be like? I know you're going to be trying to remind the viewers of all these scenarios, and of course you're going to of course you always do a good job letting all of us know what the scenarios could be. But you got all these other things out there. You got 36 cars, and then you got guys trying to just go out and win the race. And you got a majority of those guys in the field. I
think as a race fan, Casey, and I'm a race fan at heart, and I always try to take that into everything I do, whether it's announcing a pre-race show or broadcasting a race or even writing about a race. I really try to approach it as a fan. And when I'm watching a race, I want to watch the race. So as a broadcaster, I'm going to be paying attention to what's happening lap by lap. But I also want to pay attention to, the overall season storyline. That's also very much a part of it. So while I may not be talking about those championship scenarios each and every lap, it's something that I personally am very interested in. So I will try to keep that updated as often as I can. I'm gonna be in a position to where I'm gonna have a lot of added information in front of me. I hope I have points as they run, because my brain, the hamster wheels up there haven't been greased in a while, Casey. So I'm gonna need some help from the computer to keep track of who's running where and what the points totals are and whatnot. So it's gonna be very busy as the broadcaster of that one.
Oh yeah, big for sure. Jesse Love is kind of closing out his ARCA West career, and BMR is, and Bill McAnally Racing is also kind of a closing out of the end of an era as well. Of course, they announced a few weeks ago they are going to be going to Chevrolets next year. Of course, they've been with Toyota for the past 12 years, and what BMR has done in the ARCA West is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they've been the cornerstone team, one of the cornerstone teams out there for a long time. I remember Bill McAnally as a driver, back in the 1990s, and he transitioned very successfully into a team owner, and they won a lot of races very early on with Brendan Gaughan as the driver. I was buddies with Brendan back when he started his truck series career, and really became not only one of his at-track buddies, but became a big fan of his. He won a lot of races out there on the West Coast, and to see that success continue on. I don't remember the exact total of wins, but it's over 100 at this point, and they've shown no signs of slowing down. Jesse Love has been a great fit out there. Cole Moore, although he hasn't picked up a victory this year, has been strong each and every week. And then they've kind of had that rotating cast of characters that's filled their third and fourth cars all season long, and they've had some really good runs even with those part-time drivers. So they've been a cornerstone team. The Sunrise Ford team has also been a cornerstone operation out there, and Bob Brancati and Maureen Brancati have fielded 3 cars all season long this year. And I'm actually surprised that they hadn't gotten a win to this point.
Yeah.
I know Jake Drew is still very much alive for the championship, and Trevor Huddleston's got an outside shot at it as well, but I'm surprised that they didn't get at least one win this year. Those cars have been really strong, and it's always good for us when those victories get spread around throughout the field, and I'm pleasantly surprised that PJ Pedroncelli got a win, but I'm also surprised that Sunrise Ford didn't. But that, I think, really is a testament to the competition level out there out west. It's great that a small independent team can come out there and run with the big dogs.
Yeah, and also this is not just the the last race of the season. This is the last race of the 2021 ARCA season. I know you guys released the schedule last week for the main ARCA series, and I know the focus is on the championship this weekend. But I know
you asked me about the other series schedules, Casey. I'm going to go.
No, I'm good. But I know you guys are really putting a big focus on 2022.
Right. So, we've got, 10 people here. And at this point, I think all of them pretty much have turned their gaze onto next season. We're working on buttoning up those 2022 East and West schedules. And I think you'll see some news on that front sooner than later. Just not quite ready to announce those just yet, but from what I have seen, I think people are going to be pretty happy with what we've got going on there. So
can't wait to see that. Well, we got a big race, the Arizona Lottery 100. They'll be on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, if I'm not mistaken.
3 p.m. Eastern.
3 p.m. Eastern on Track Pass. Charlie, of course, will be on the call. So tune in. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And it's going to be interesting to see how you can keep track.
Casey, I think you're right. Hold on. I think you're right. I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Live on Track Pass. Yep.
Sounds
I thought it was a 1 o'clock, or excuse me, a 1 o'clock start out west, but it's a noon start. So yeah, I think that equates to 2 o'clock Eastern time.
All right.
Are you confused? I'm confused.
Yeah. It's this battle is probably pretty confusing going into.
Right. I've got all these points situations. Now I've got to worry about time zones and everything. Casey, you're really confusing me today.
Yep. All right. Well, Charlie, thank you so much for coming on all season long.
Got it, buddy.
Of course, we will see you when those East and West schedules are announced, and we'll be, of course, be doing this again in 2022.
We will. We got to do this again.
I mean, you can.
Let's count on it, Casey. Let's do it.
Sounds good.
All right.